Hello everyone, this is Mehdi Hassan. Today we're going to make this beautiful scene in Unreal Engine 5. So please stay with me. So this is the model you have made in Blender or Maya. Open the Unreal Launcher, go to Film and Video, take the ray trace and hit create the project. It will take some time. Here is your viewport. By the way, this is my inspiration. This is the piece of art which I was inspired from and wanted to build this. So let's make a folder called asset, import the model house, the FBX format, open. Let me check those and let's import the full model. There are many pieces, let's create new level. There are a bunch of levels, open world, empty level. Let's create empty level because it's more convenient. You can customize it as you want. So let's create a landscape. Create, click the create button, and here is your landscape. Now let's select all the assets and drag it to the viewport. It will take some time because there are a lot of geometries. Hit F to focus. I think this model is little bit small, so let me hit 20, scale it 20 and move it little up little bit. Just touch the ground. Yeah, that's okay. Let's check. This is unlit, there is no light. And this is wireframe, you can see the wireframe here. This is detail lighting. If there isn't light, you can see the details. And here is the light. There's no light, so go to light section. And by the way, there are many, you can see there are many lights. You can use any of them, different purposes. Like this is HDRI. You can use HDRI maps here to light your scene very quickly. And these are the supporting lights, point light, spotlight. I will check spotlight, just bring it, drag it to the viewport, move it little up, rotate it with alt, pressing alt. Let's reposition the light, just here. Maybe tilt the light a little bit, tilt up. Yeah, like this, like moon is hitting. This is, by the way, this is snap. If you pull it off, you can move them very easily, the snapping tools. So I think this is perfect. Yeah, you can see the light is hitting. Now you can increase this light here, and these are the settings. You can control the light using this is attenuation radius. So how far the light will go, the radius of the light, you can see this is hitting the ground, and if I decrease, it will go upward. You can see the light is a little bit harsh. Move it here and there, maybe like this. I'm just checking the light. This is in-depth tutorial. I'm not making it fast, so a beginner like you can understand what's going on. This is basically level 0, just bringing my models in. Here are the two assigned material in this model. So if you tick on this search button, it will take you that place where the material is located. Double click it and you can see we will learn about them more in future. Since it's a basic tutorial, you can see this is a color. If you click this, you can pick select your favorite color here. I think gray will be perfect for me, since I am making this tutorial as minimal. Let's save it, and the material will automatically change in the model. You can see this turns into gray, and this material is this one. Double click it, and also you can make this. Let's, so if you click this, this refers to this material. Double click it and make it gray. That's fine. Save it, close it. You can see my whole house model is gray. Now let's search for exponential height fog. If you write fog and select the exponential, the fog is exponential. Go to the settings, and you can see if I change the color to some white, now you can see the fog in the distance. You can change the color, you can do whatever you want. Fog height fall, the fog will stay more in on the ground and becomes lighter when it's upwards. As soon as it gets high on the sky, it gets lighter. So this is called exponential, and this is volume fog. If you tick it, then it will become the volume fog. Light will emit some volume. It will look very very cinematic. So always, I'm just eyeballing, I'm just testing many settings, just do it. Just don't scare to move those gizmos, to just do some experiment, as you are a beginner, so no need to worry, you'll learn by that. The spotlight, maybe, yeah, I'm just outer cone angle, inner cone angle, source radius, there are many lots of things. Here's volumetric scattering. If I make it large, you can see some scattering, and look at the light that's glowing like a moon. That's the power of volumetric. Some mist, the haze around the light, that's volumetric light. That's fantastic. If you bring it close, it will so much bright. Let me bring down some intensity. So these are the settings. I'm just playing with the settings. By the way, we need to assign a material to our ground. How can we make the material? Just go to the right button, click, and create a new material. Just name it a floor. Double click it and hit 3 in the keyboard, and it will connect this to the base, and double click on the black. You can see the color. Just pick the gray color, since I'm going to make the floor also gray. And press 1 into the keyboard, it will bring some value, just hook it to the roughness and make it 0. We'll make it glossy, so I will make it between 300 to 200, 200 to 300, semi glossy, and save it. So this is our floor material, and just put it here, and nothing will happen because this is not a regular mesh, this is a landscape. So I have to you have to select the landscape, and then go to the landscape material and put the material there, right in, and then you can see the whole floor or the landscape. You will get the material. So let me adjust the exponential height fog. You can increase it maybe 4. You can see this is so much volume. So I'll bring back to 2. Maybe 3 is better. 1. No, 2. 2 is good. Maybe 2.5. The haze is also in foreground. So there is start distance, how long from where the fog will appear, you know from where, from which distance the fog will be appeared. There is fog appearing display. Maybe playing with some scattering distribution, so this is the view distance. There is so much foggy. This is the start distance, where the fog will start. Now this is the main settings. I want to see the fog behind the house, so I will adjust it. There's the albedo. This is so much like diffuse. The color, you can choose the color of the fog of your preference. Press OK. So you can see the house, and bring a point light here. I will put some light inside of the house. Go to the settings, pick a color, like an orange color, reddish orange. Hit OK. Then maybe dim the light a little bit. I'm bringing the light inside of the house just by using the gizmo, positioning them. Yes, I'm just select the alt key, and just slide the gizmo, and it will be, instance the mesh or light, whatever you choose, it will instance it. I'm just playing with the shadow because the shadows are looking so much harsh. So how can we fix that? In order to fix that, you need to use the ray tracing, like this. If you are trying to do these settings, nothing much will be changed. These are for other reasons. So you can see cast ray trace shadow. If you enable it, it will make some difference. How? the shadow will be more soft, and that's what the natural shadow looks like. Let me save that. And the spotlight, now you have to enable the ray tracing on the light, each light. So just go down till you find that setting, advanced. Here is there are many options, you can use IES lighting. So here's the enable it in the settings, cast ray trace shadow, enable it. And let's look closer what it does. Look at the shadows, the shadow is much more softer. If I disable it, you can see it is zagged, it is zigzag. The anti-aliasing is not good, the shadow is not good. If you put it on, if you enable the ray trace, and you can see the softness of the shadow. That's how it works in the nature. So we're all set up, so you can now duplicate, or sorry, instance the lights. Just pick any object and move the gizmo anywhere, by pressing alt, and the light will be automatically instanced. You don't need to duplicate the light. If you duplicate the light, that means and other things. But you have to do instances are much more light, the same value, the same things, but much more low performance. These are the thoughts of these are the old thoughts. Now everything is advanced, the graphics are advanced. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll dim the light a little bit on the top or in the roof. Maybe 0.5 is good, looking good. Select alt and bring the light down. In front of the house there should be a light. Maybe 0.1 will be good. No, it's already looking cool. Bring the light. You can see how it affects the fog. That's so much powerful. That's volumetric light. You can put it here like that. Maybe dim it down. That's your preference. How do you want to look the scene? You can make it purple. It looks so much spooky. As you, what is your preference? Just make like that. Let some dim the light, maybe like that. That's your preference. You can do that. I'm playing with intensity. I'm trying to make this scene as good as possible. Let me save that project again. So I think this shadow is a little bit harsh. Reposition the light a little bit. You can see that there's a cross sign on the light. That's because if you copy your instance your light a certain time, it will make it like that. Just click on the move button so you can move it, and movable object. Now you are good to go. Otherwise it will give you the cross mark. Mobility, just a little bit inside. Save all the project all time. I have some 3D models, some Megascan models. Everyone use them. I will put some grass around the house and a tree. Let's first start with the grasses. So these are the Megascan grasses in the Meadow pack. You can use them in foliage. Go to foliage, and you can see drop foliage here. If you drop them there and tweak some settings, you can use the foliage by brushes. That's why you don't need to put them single object. You can just use the brush and produce the mass production of grass. So much easier. You can see the grass. Let me undo it. The grass is more big, so let's click the grass and go to the settings. This is a density, how much. In one click there will be 100, so I'll put there 3. And there is a tab of height, so you have to set the minimum and maximum height. This is the scale X, the height. So I'll put it 0.3 and minimum, and the maximum should be 0.4. That's fine. Let me see. No, still too much big. So maybe look at this one. 3, some 0.3, 0.4, 0.3, 0.4. The density will be point 0.2, 2, 0.3, 0.4. I'm doing the same thing. If we use the paintbrush, you can see there's the models, the crashes. You can paint them across the border of the house, wherever you want. So I think the density is so much low. I think we should increase the density in per kilometer. Maybe 8. I don't know. Maybe 8 is fine. 100 is too much. Maybe 12. These are the things of experiment. The more you experiment, the more you will become expert of them. I think those grass look so much big, so I think I need to fix them, make them more small, you know so that they looks a little small. These grass are looking so much big. Those are looking so much large. Now let me check it. But this time the density is low, so I think I will increase the volume. Let me put 30, per per stroke. Still not doing that much great. Maybe 40, 50. How, the density, how dense the grass should be, in every stroke. That's the point. So you can see now this is a little bit working. You can see here some grass is maybe work on the back side of the house, you know just here and there. Yeah, put some grass there, maybe some grass over here, maybe put some grass here and there. It's already looking good. You can make your dream project here in Unreal Engine 5. This is so much interesting to see and work. Once you know the basics, you are good to go. You can make anything. Plus there are many support from Megascan. You don't have to think about these foliages. They're super. I mean, you know that already, that those are the 3D scan. This is more like very basic, and you can just run the basic. This is more like visualizing. You like a concept art and you will make it real in Unreal, sort of like that. You can download the Medo pack from the marketplace, free. This is free, and put them on your project and use them. Now exit from the foliage and go to the selection mode again, and let's go to a plant. And now I make a plant, a tree. You can use a tree. You can use any free tree, or from these are some models. You can use any tree from speed tree or free models, free plants. Maybe some jungle folder tree. There is the tree. You can use them. Since I'm not using the foliage tool, because I'm just putting tree one or two trees, so I think I can put it in with my hand, singly select them. So just drag it to your scene. This is very dense, but we don't need to think about it. It's Unreal, can handle billions of polygons without any hesitation, despite it should be nanite object. Maybe rotating it like the fluffy trees, those looks great. I'm just art directing, nothing fancy, just rotating. So these are just normal work. You can adjust it as you want, scaling. I'm just alt press and make the gizmo to forward or here and there to, or instance the tree, the same tree, just make it little in obvious, irregular, or making some randomize them, because in nature everything looks random. As you can see, this is the leaf material. If I double click and open it, I just hook some map on the required map section, like base texture to base color. This is alpha, this is why this is, you have to cut the leaf according to the alpha. So the leaf is green, and this is, and the lastly, that is normal map. So the leaf is green, and I just want to make the leaf, more like orange, like reference. So I will multiply that with the color, the base, and then input it on the it. You can see the material is looking, the leaf is looking red. This is how you can adjust color. This is how you can change the color. But this looks so much red, or you can see look like blood. I don't want blood. So maybe the green and the orange is making a problem, because multiply, you're, what you are doing is multiplying that image, to the color. So that's gonna be always gonna be so much dark, or not so much looking good. As you can see, this is becoming more red. So you can just unplug the base material, base texture, and just put the direct color to the base color, and adjust the color, because there are some details, because there is normal map, the guy normal map which is bringing this detail, who is really creating that detail. So you don't need the base, because you're going to color the, you just need the color, and the green is just distracting them. So just I'm using the only color, the base color. This is the alpha cutting the mesh, and this is the main guy who is making this detail, wonderful detail. So save this. This is normal map. So I think hopefully that the scene will look much more fun. Yes, you can see that the color is vivid. That's what we wanted, but we can definitely adjust. That's good. You know, it's good to see how the fog disappears if you move the camera, if you go to the close to the tree. Maybe rotating some, maybe rotate the tree to look much more dramatic, just art directing. Since this is a simple scene, anyone can make this, you just practice them with your imaginary, and one day you will become a great visualizer, a great artist. You can showcase your work here, satisfy your artistic, what you can say, hunger. That should be appropriate word. You can work in your studio or office to showcase your personal work. This is bark, trunk material. The material is so much glossy, so I just press the one in keyboard and make a value node, and put there one, so that the trunk is no more reflective. It should be diffuse, and you can see it's diffuse, there's no glossiness on it. So yeah, this is almost done. We need to do some post processing to look it good. So come to the search classes and write post and drag it to the viewport. It will bring the post process volume, and insert here, type unbound, so that, and click it, so that your effect will be affected on whole length, whole model, and not only limited to the volume, the size of the volume. Unbound is for full scene. And now we should put some bloom here, experimenting with bloom. This kind of scenes is a little bit blooming, the light bleed, the light bloomy. That looks so much dreamy. You can see the bloom effect maybe increasing some little. There are many things you can adjust it. You can, in this scene there's not much necessity of these settings, but when you work in future and future project you'll definitely need them. Sometimes it's a day shot, you need some global illumination, you'll need some ray tracing global illumination, you'll need some reflection, maybe lumen, or maybe screen space, or maybe some ray tracer will be good for you. Maybe you can use some color tone in post process. There are many things you can do with post process, like you can do with Photoshop. You can do this here too. So reflection, you can see if I lumen, and the reflection is changing. So all the lumen is better. You can always play with some ambient occlusion, not too much. I think this light is distracting, so maybe this light should be off, or I don't know, maybe the intensity should be more or less, so that you can see the details. You can see the details. Now that's much good. Just touching a little bit, that should be okay. Yeah, just there is the light. It's time to make a level sequence. You can render the scene. Just go to your folder, the asset, and this is the your map, real map. You can name it your, this is your sequence, level sequence. You can render it, name it render, and this is, you can always dock it here. I prefer to do that. Click on the camera. You can already see there's a camera applied on the sequence. You can play with it, the camera. Maybe 25 will good, but I don't think so, because we worked in a viewport and viewport is always in 16 millimeter. So I think the 16 will be perfect. Yeah, the 16 will be full. Yeah, you can always reposition the, and this is the transform, this is the focus. You can always keyframe your focus so that your scene look more cinematic. There is a tool where if you can see that in right side the focus, you can use these tools to find the focus. Pick anywhere and the focus there will be there. And now if you dial that button, you can see your focus. You are in focus, which you are visible, and which are in purple is out of focus. This is the handy tool for focusing object, which you can see really close. So there are a little bit depth of field, not much, because in 16 millimeter there shouldn't be any depth of field, barely any depth of field, but there should be there. Your eyes can't see, but there should be a depth of field. That's why I'm putting that. If you make your scene so much closer scene, you can find good depth of fields from Unreal Engine, even for far shot. Since it's a 16-meter wide angle lens, there shouldn't be so much depth of field. But yes, definitely you can find the depth of field in 35 lens focal length. So you can always keyframe this. I'm just zooming and zooming out, and this is the transform. Here's the, if you click that, take a keyframe, and if you move the zoom in the house, go to the first frame and then go to the last frame. Keyframing that, you can see you put the keyframe first and last, and the camera is ready. You can always scrub through the animation. You already just made a beautiful animation. You can always reposition them and update the, click on that transform and update the keyframe, and your keyframe is updated. This is any other keyframe like in After Effects or other softwares. We can render this scene in simple level sequence or in movie render queue. You can see movie scenes capture legacy and movie render queue. Movie render queue is perfect. Click it. You can see movie render queue. This is the high end settings to export the high quality, and if you now click, this is the normal settings. This is the from render from normal render from Unreal Engine, and this is the movie render. You can put as much as high quality here and have a smooth buttery rendering from here, and definitely it will be make the rendering slower if you put more samples. Since I like 4K, so I'll put here. In I am rendering the render sequence here. You can see the render sequence. That is my sequence. Everything is looking fine. You can open the settings, put here your custom frame range. Now start from 0, ends with 150. Anti-aliasing, put the spatial sample count to 10 and temporal count to 1. This one is 3 and this one is 9. Spatial sample count 9 and temporal sample count 3. That's okay. It will be fine. And render locally. What this will do is, let me folder, let me render it on folder, short one. Select folder and render. You can see that it will be starting rendering. Don't think that low quality is low quality. It's just a render preview, and the engine will warm up, and you just put that value there in 3 or 9 is subsamples, not making one sample, multiple samples to get the image really good. You'll wait some time until the engine starts. You can see start rendering. Here you can see in the right side, you can see subsamples 1, 9 of 27. You can see those are the subsamples, and those are making this image really sharp and good, clear. So that's pretty much it. If you like my content, please subscribe. I will make more beginner friendly or beginner tutorials for you. Till then, bye bye.